Oh. All right, I'm live. All right. What's up, bows and bow ties? I wake up like this. Excuse me. You're seeing exactly how I wake up. I mean, I did brush my teeth and I rinse out my mouthwash, all that good stuff, and I have a cup of coffee. So you guys know 2 times out of the year my sinuses are on 10. So I took a decongestant, but I need to take an allergy pill. So look, I thought about doing this outside. It's kind of nice right now before it gets warm, but that dew, I didn't want to have to wipe off anything on my deck, the morning dew. So we're inside. So look, I almost have the house to myself. I have one child here. I have one that's down at college. Um, and I've got two that ran out with dad this morning for some drills sessions. Anyway, so look, I've kind of touched on a couple of these topics this week, but I just wanted to chat a little bit more. I don't think there's going to be anything newer. I just wanted to chat about some things since I actually have some time. My I will be off well in time before I have a 10 o'clock with some ladies. We're discussing some things for this upcoming year. Um, so I have a 10 o'clock coffee slash breakfast sandwich meeting, but it's really close by. I'll take a quick shower and then I'll hop in the car. So look, I just want to talk about a couple things just because I alluded to it this week. We need to talk about these old people in politics. Now, I know you guys are going to be like, she's such an ageist. I am in this instance. I really am. I am. I'm an ageist in this instance because I just really feel like, one, they need to go sit down somewhere. Okay. Their ability to function in these jobs, whether it's Congress or whatever, I just feel like they need to stop. Look, this is the thing. As you get older, it's normal for there to be a decline in how quickly you respond to things, how quickly, whether it's physical, whether it's mental or whatever. So I'm just kind of like between Biden and Dianne Feinstein, and you've got Mitch McConnell, and there's others out there. They're out here all the way clowning. And I'm like, we have to have these term limits. We've got to stop electing these people. I get it. You've got politicians who've gotten rich off of being in these positions, and I'm here for it. But as long as it's not like 5 million years. Look, this is a capitalist society. So a lot of people are going to get rich off of being in these positions. I get it. They're going to have all their connections with the lobbyists and the corporations, and there's so much that happens behind the scenes. I'm just saying, but Mitch McConnell knows he needs to sit down somewhere. I wonder if I have anything still downloaded. He needs to sit down somewhere. You know what I'll do? Let me see if I can pull up one of my TikToks. I don't know if I even still have it downloaded, and then I'll send it to myself. And I mean, the people. So this is the thing: you got Mitch McConnell who can't remember anything. So we're going to start with that. He can't remember anything. All right, I'm going to have to download this. I am so sorry, everybody. You guys know I'm like struggling right now. Where is it? Where is it on my TikTok? Oh, here we go. All right, here we go. I'm gonna. My goodness, I just did a YouTube video. Oh yeah, you can hear me in the background. Let me see if that video.
Okay.
So while that's downloading, so yeah, you had Mitch McConnell up there who was confused. He was confused. Mitch McConnell, I guess I could download that clip too, but then I'll be doing this all day. I did not prepare for this. I just woke up and said, I'm just going to have a chit chat. Mitch McConnell was up there giving a speech, and they were asking him basic questions, basically embarrassing him. I mean, it was like, are you planning on running for president in 2026? Or running for I'm sorry, not president, Senate, um to be the minority leader or majority leader, whatever. And he was like, uppity, uppity, uppity. That's all, folks. It's like he didn't literally say that. Um, he was struggling. I was like, yeah. He like that's not the first time. I'm not sure if you guys remember before when he was up there and he was talking and then he wasn't. I was like, yo. And we should not laugh. It's not funny. It's not. But I was like, this is like a sign that someone does not love him. Like, that clearly our politicians don't care about him at all. They don't. They allowed this man to get up there and basically embarrass himself. Oh, okay. Let me see. Hold on. Stop. Stop. Okay. Let me see. I'm going to see if I can. This isn't anything earth shattering, but Bill O'Reilly came out. He was talking about it. He was like, "Look, we need to stop. Y'all need to go sit down somewhere." Let me see. Oh, it's not going to let me pull it up unless I change it to. Why won't this let me pull it up? Let me see. Let me see. Why am I having such a hard time today? Okay. This was just my TikTok. I'm not
Oh
seeing
my
anything.
goodness. I just did a YouTube video on what you're about to see.
McConnell, okay? McConnell should resign tomorrow, and his wife should make that happen. McConnell is not healthy enough to be the Senate Minority Leader. Dianne Feinstein should quit tomorrow as a senator from California because she is not healthy enough. And Joe Biden should resign, not tomorrow, but somewhere down the line after the Democrats set up someone who can actually compete for the office because Biden cannot. All right? And we should have term limits in this country. Absolutely should have them. This is ridiculous to have people sitting there like Ms. Feinstein, who doesn't even know where she is. And McConnell, I feel sorry for him.
I should hold on. I shouldn't laugh, but it's true.
Ridiculous to have people sitting there like Ms. Feinstein, who doesn't even know where she is.
I mean, the same thing could be said for Mitch. Mitch is up there, standing there. I'm like, who loves this man? Let this man sit down and go out with some level of dignity. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. They should not have this man up there looking like, let me see. Sorry, can you see me? He's like, you want to know my name? It's like, sit him down. Let this man have his dignity. Anyway, let's get back into this. This is almost done.
And McConnell, I feel sorry for him. It looks like he's going to have a stroke. I mean, come on. Let's get these people the help they need.
I don't think Bill knew how funny he was. This was Bill O'Reilly speaking. And I was like, but it's true. He needs help. This man should not be up. Get this man the help he needs. Now, there was, I think there was a report that came out the other day that said that he was healthy. He might be physically healthy, but mentally, he's not really fit to do this job. So whether it's he's not mentally fit, Dianne Feinstein not knowing where she is, poor Joe can't even walk up or downstairs. They had him on a bike. They know they should have put this man on a tricycle. Basically, they should have had this man on like the 1980s. Remember the big wheel? He should have been on a big wheel. I don't know why. I was like, look, we need new people. Okay, this is just my opinion. This is my chit chat over coffee while I have the house. We need new people. Can we get some new people? This is ridiculous. Hey, let's play this one more time because I was getting my hee-haws.
And get other people in who can run the country.
Hold on.
I just did a YouTube video on what you're about to see.
McConnell, okay? McConnell should resign tomorrow, and his wife should make that happen. McConnell is not healthy enough to be the Senate Minority Leader. Dianne Feinstein should quit tomorrow as a senator from California because she is not healthy enough. And Joe Biden should resign, not tomorrow, but somewhere down the line after the Democrats set up someone who can actually compete for the office because Biden cannot. All right? And we should have term limits in this country. Absolutely should have them. This is ridiculous to have people sitting there like Ms. Feinstein, who doesn't even know where she is. And McConnell, I feel sorry for him. It looks like he's going to have a stroke. I mean, come on. let's get
That's
these
messed up.
people the help they need and get other people in who can run the country. Is that illogical?
I should not laugh, but it was so true. And the funny thing is, the clips that he used. So, like, I remember when my son was in high school. Okay, so he was in this program. So, like, back in the day, we would call it VOTAC, but the program up here where we are, it's like hard to get into. So you have your normal high school, and then you have your additional high school if you're in any sort of program. So like he was in the engineering program, so they had like an engineering program. So he was in Project Lead the Way. For those of you who know what that is, they had like a nursing program. They had cosmetology. You got like automotive HVAC. They got a bomb culinary program. It's like legit, like I'm talking about like these are real certifications these kids are getting, right? Well, anyway, I remember when I was going in one time for some sort of back to school night or whatever it was, because they want to show you what's going on in these programs. These are kind of like really competitive programs. And I walked into school and I see off to the side all of the at first I thought they were real people. I was like, what is happening in there? And these were dummies, like, for, like, the nursing students, but this was, like, almost, like, all elderly or something, right? And they were, like like how, like, when people are sick? And that's what that clip that we just saw reminds me of. I was like, when the way people look beat down, when you get older, that look, the goal is for all of us to get older, right? It is a blessing. I think it is a flex when you can say, hey, I am 80 something, 90 something years old. It is a flex because a lot of people who look like me don't even make it there. Okay. So let me just start off by saying that if you can sit there and say you're 50, 60, 70, 80, whatever it is all the way a flex. Nevertheless, when I was
Oh my
looking at
goodness.
people,
I just did.
hold on, like this, and I walked into the school and I saw
Tomorrow, as a senator from California.
this is what I was seeing in these beds. And what I'm saying, what I'm trying to say is when these students that they're dummies that they were working they were working on look just like elderly people. They were not well. And this right here, to me, gives me the look of someone not well. It paints the picture. And all I'm saying is, look, let me just say this, even though I'm hee hawing, but I am serious. When you have a group of people in these positions for as long as they are, I can appreciate their service. But I also feel like we got to allow them the dignity to step down. I get it. The nation is polarized. We've got a lot going on, but there are no new ideas coming in. And these people are so entrenched in their positions. It's not allowing for new thoughts, new anything. There's no change that's going to happen. Primarily, they have to die because they're not going to retire. They're going to continue to prop these people up. I was watching another content creator no, maybe it was yesterday. I was actually watching Sherelle's World. I hadn't caught her stuff in a little bit. And she made me laugh because she compared it to Weekend at Bernie's. I was like, yes, yes, yes. Because they're just propping these people up. They're practically dead. They're propping them up and sending them off to do their job, including Biden. And he's barely making it. He was reminding me of Pinocchio. I mean, like, he needs Geppetto around him all the time to help him up because he's just like all over the place. Remember that song? I got no strings to hold me down. That's Biden. He can't ride the bike. He can't walk. I'm like, look, what they need to do is just say, Biden, here's your big wheel. Just get him a big wheel. I'm sure there's somewhere in like the 1980s Hall of Fame toys for kids somewhere. They could pull out a big wheel because he's the president of the United States. Get this man a big wheel. It's low to the ground. There's one big wheel and two tiny ones. And if he really wants to get like into it, If he goes really fast and slams on the brakes, he'll skid. Remember that? For those of you who were in the 1980s, he can get on his big wheel. He can skid off to the side. Look, don't get mad at me. I'm just calling thing a thing because they know all of them need to go sit down. We need a new, fresh breath of air. You already got Vivek Ramaswamy. I can't even say his name right now because I haven't really paid that much attention to him. He's already sounds like a dingaling. However, comma, at least he's trying to usher in a new group of people. He's trying to bring them in. So I'm just kind of like, we need new clowns. We need new non clowns. We need new people. What we can't keep doing is propping up these people. We got to stop. Between Diane, oh, he can't even walk. And my man, where is he? My man. Between him and Diane Feinstein, they're like, which way to go, George? They're like, they don't know what's happening. So I say, let these people retire in peace. Bring in some new people. I get it. They don't want to give up these seats and stuff, but they gotta go. They gotta go. All right. I know I shouldn't have been laughing, but I wanted to, and I'm allowed to. It's my channel. If you don't like it, you can leave a comment, but just be respectful. But yes, I know that was totally shady. Look, I didn't say I was like I got the moral high ground here. I never claimed to have the moral high ground, but I'm just kind of like, what is happening? They know that he needs to go sit down somewhere. All of them do. I think that poor Mitch, you know how hard it's got to be to stand up there and you think that you're saying something and suddenly you don't say anything and you're just kind of like, which way did he go, George? Like, if his family loved him, they'd say, keep Paw Paw, keep Pop Pop, keep Grandpa, keep Mitch, for those who call him Mitch. Um, keep him off that podium. They could have a hologram up there and just say, this is what Mitch says, and just make up what you wanted him to say, and you read it for him, but just like put a hologram up there of Mitch. Mitch needs to be sitting down somewhere, playing backgammon or whatever it is that older people do, um, and holding his casino coins. Well, he's really wealthy. I don't know if wealthy people play regular casino games. They probably have some rich people games they play in the background. I don't even know if he remembers how to do that. Get him I don't know, can he play Sudoku? I don't know, but they need to go sit him down somewhere, get him his cup of coffee, and go find an old school newspaper. Do they even still make newspapers anymore? I haven't seen one in a long time. But go give him one and let him hold it and let him think that it's the current events. That's what they need to do with Mitch. Go get him a newspaper and let him hold it and think that that's the most current, because I don't think he knows where he is. So they say he's fine. He might be physically fine, but mentally, I think he needs to take a break and let this man retire in peace. Okay, he's had a long, illustrious career. So let him go out, with a level of dignity. Even if he doesn't know that he needs it, let this man have his dignity. All right. So this brings me to Florida is Floriding. Floridaing. I can't even get the words out. So over the last month and a half, I'm just kind of like, what is happening in Florida right now? Between the hurricanes that like to get off, people are like, I'm not moving, I'm not abandoning it. Over the last year or two, State Farm is like, I am not allegedly, I can't remember. I think it came out. I think it's official. I'll just throw this up there for a moment. State Farm is like, I'm not even insuring you, Bama's down there. I said Bama because I was going to get to Alabama too, but I don't know which state is just worse. I put it to you like this. Like how Alabama and Mississippi typically are some of the worst performers academically, and primarily because of the money situation and what you're going to pour your money into. And all I can say is this. With Florida, I'm getting ready to sneeze. Oh my goodness. I am so sorry. My eyes are watering. I'm going to sneeze. It's horrible. I think with Florida and the way this country is so divided right now, and you have DeSantis down there. First of all, Florida's been acting out. You got the hurricanes. You've got the weird. DeSantis is just weird in general. He's turning it into a whole sundown state, not the sundown towns. Like for those of you who don't really know what that is, back then, and I would still say today, there are places in the United States where if you look like me, if you're a black person or brown person, but if you're not white, you don't want to be caught there when the sun goes down because the people are whacked out, they're racist, they like to do harmful things. These are people who have the spirit of Satan, basically. And so in these towns, they were known for letting you know you can pass through here, you better not be here when the sun is down. Well, anyway, and basically when you're a sundown a sundown town or whatever like that, or anything like that, is basically a place where there are laws that are not just, right? So look, he ran up the immigrant he ran out the immigrants, right? So now Florida's dealing with, you got, this is like the perfect timing, all of the immigrants who do, and I know this is going to sound so stereotypical, but we do have a lot of immigrants who come in and they perform a lot of these key services. They do a lot of your roof work, your road work, your garden work, your plumbing work, all those things. And unfortunately, at like, I hate saying slave wages, but they do this work and they do it well. And he drove a lot of the immigrants out. So a lot of them, I think, went to like Georgia and South Carolina, and I'm sure like Texas and other places. I am so sorry, my eyes and my sinuses. Oh gosh, I gotta take an allergy pill today. Anyway, so you know, Florida's been acting out with, like I said, you got the hurricane situation that's been doing this thing. So now remember all those immigrants that you drove out? How's the work going to get done? Who's going to do it? Because Americans are so spoiled. Oh, we don't even like to. Oh, we don't even like to get our hands dirty. I know I don't. Right? I I don't even like to do yard work. I rarely do yard work. I gotta go stake my peach tree because my husband is like, I didn't even want that tree. I'm like, but we're having it. So I gotta go stake my peach tree. So I'm gonna be in a bad mood, or I'm gonna pay somebody to do it, right? Americans, we don't like to get dirty unless some of us will do some garden work, but that real work, we don't like to do it. And so now Florida's gonna be up a creek. But Florida continues to Florida, right? Because, like I said, you got the weird laws that are not favorable to people in general. So they're running the people up out of there. I'm not really overly Democratic. I'm not conservative. That's why I'm an independent. I voted Republican and Democratic in the past for various levels. I will say this: if you treat people like they're a piece of crap, a lot of people right now are like, I don't even want to give Florida any money. People don't want to go spend their tourist dollars there. I know we don't. I was thinking about doing a cruise next year out of Florida because, my kids like to cruise for some reason. And so we like to mix up our vacations. Like our vacation might be part cruise, part something else, like what we did this summer over in Europe, right? We flew into Barcelona, hung out there for a few days. Then we cruised the Mediterranean, and then we hung out in Rome for 4 days. So it was about a 2-week vacation. We had a really great time. But we like to mix up our vacations, right? And sometimes what we'll do is we'll kind of give ourselves a variety and peace of mind with a cruise. Well, it is cheaper to cruise, in my opinion, out of Florida, but we're like, Florida can't get our dollars right now. There are people who are like, screw that. Disney is already expensive anyway. I'm not going to Disney because I'm so sick of that mouse, right? Like, I haven't been to Disney in, I can't tell you, at least a decade and a half. But people don't want to go to Florida. He's made it so unfriendly that it's such a polarized state. And I know I'm oversimplifying and I'm making a lot of generalizations, but I mean, they're voting for this. So I have to believe that many of these people believe this. Okay. So you got, like I said, Idaliaing. You got people who are going to need help cleaning up all that stuff down there with the hurricanes. And we're not out of hurricane season. You ran off all the immigrants. I'm sorry. you've got um these laws that are like making it so that like you're penalizing people who want to actually give work to those who have immigrated from various places from South America, right? So now you're telling them you better not help them out either. So they can't effectively really run their businesses. You've got people who are like, screw this. Why would I want to go to Florida? Because Florida's acting whacked out. Also Texas. But yeah. And on top of that, you literally have a whacked out weirdo who's like, yeah, we're not going to teach about Black history, which is the reason why I always say to people, now look, for you blacks out there who want to like come at me crazy, I'm telling you right now, you need to go read some books and listen to what I'm going to say. There is a reason why the Black church was so important, especially post Reconstruction era, post 1865. No, wait. Was it 1865? I'm losing track of my dates here. Look, I'm getting old too. I'm having a Mitch moment. I am. That's me right now. This is me right now. Hold on to be like, that's me. I'm like, yes. So yes, I'm having a Mitch moment. Mitch, you and I are in the same moment. So look, now they're concerned about this critical race theory, which to me is just history, right? So now it's look, the kids down in Florida are already struggling anyway. They're going to now, in my opinion, they're going to start competing with like Alabama and Mississippi for having some of the lowest test scores and the lack of knowledge. Not because the kids are stupid. Let's be clear. Opportunity, exposure. Okay. So what they're doing is they're closing themselves off and they're willfully making these kids dum-dums. And like I said, it's not because of lack of capability or ability. It has nothing to do with that. Look what they're doing to these kids. Look what they're doing to the people down there. And they're creating a group of people that are whacked out weirdos. They are. So now Florida's acting out. And I'm like, they're going to be really bad off. We already know that, like, when you go down to like Mississippi and Alabama, they don't necessarily perform well on a national or macro level. But the thing that kills me, I bet you some of the most brilliant minds are sitting right there, but they're not getting the opportunity and the exposure. I wish I had the ability to go down there and open up like a school, and this school wouldn't be just based on academics. Like I would love like to be in the position to create an environment. You know, you think about the ecosystem, right? I think I did a live yesterday. I was talking about ecology or ecosystems, whatever. What happens when you affect one thing in an environment? But I wish I could create this ecosystem where the peoples, and it's not just Black people, because the fact of the matter is we don't live in a bubble, but the peoples, but I would be targeting Black people because we have the least resources. The people had access to education, and within this ecosystem, there would be this hospital that would serve the needs of the population, right? The things that are unique to people who look like me. And, you know, there would be an environment where they would grow some of their own crops and everything. They wouldn't have to rely on, I don't know, purchasing things because there's people who just don't even have the right food sources, you know, like grocery stores or whatever. But like we could grow certain foods and spices and herbs, and we would have a local hospital, and then we would have a school, and it would be like there's so many things in my mind, right? Like, you know, it's like this weird utopia, right? There would be a place where we would not allow certain types of music to be made. Yes, a form of censorship. I was like, I'm just calling it a thing. It would be a form of censorship. And excuse me. And, you know, I don't know. Because, like I said, if you say the same things over and over and over, it starts to seep into you. It starts to take hold. It starts to take root and it grows from there, almost like a manifesto. So anyway, I just wish I could do that type of thing now. Like I said, this is just a Saturday morning chit chat since I have most of the house to myself before I have to go to my coffee date, even though I'm already drinking coffee, and I'm getting like text messages blowing me up about it. So anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about with Florida. Florida is trying to make the people and the children dum dums. Now, I know we have a lot of people who are transplants, especially from the north down to Florida, but I'm telling you, I don't know how much longer that's going to happen because it's not friendly for people. And oh, I'm so sorry, guys. My allergies are really clowning right now. I don't if it looks like I'm going to start crying, it's because of my allergies, not because of anything that I'm saying. Oh my. All right. So I'm anyway getting back to this curriculum thing. They're going out of their way to make sure that these children are not learning the full history of what happened in this country, which is the reason why you'll get some of the white children out here as they get older saying nonsense. You've got so many people. You know what? I look at some of the most basic things. Now I have my hair in extensions because it's so much easier for me to do. But you'll see me wearing my afro. You'll see me. I haven't really worn my hair straight in a while. You'll see me wear it in braids. You'll see me wear a lot of different hairstyles. I don't wear wigs because I just don't like my hair. Like I can't. My scalp has to breathe. Anyway, where I'm going with this. This is a random thought, not even related. Well, loosely related, tangentially related. I think about how when black women get attacked by white women and they talk about hair, not even, they don't, and white women have no idea. They don't even understand what they're saying. Number one, black women grow lots of hair. Half the time you don't see it, and that's based off of the way our society views beauty and stuff like that. So black women do a lot of things to cover it up or damage the way their hair grows out of their head because of how they've been accepted. And so for the white people who think that this isn't like a thing, it literally is a thing. That's why there's the Crown Act. Go look it up. Like I said in a previous video, maybe a few weeks ago, maybe it was sometime in July, so about a month and a half ago. In one of the videos, yeah, I think it was the video where I said I spoke with a stripper or a dancer about beauty standards or something. I forgot what I titled it. The young lady was from California. I think the LA area. Not a bad looking chick. Um, I would say she was considered brown skin. I say this for a reason. So she's coming from the LA area, California, and she was talking about how she was a stripper or whatever, like that, whatever. And I remember because she was visiting on the East Coast, and she was like, "How do you like it out here?" I'm like, "Well, I've always been an East Coast gal. I'm actually, from New Jersey, closer to the New York side, but I now live in Maryland. My son's going to be going to school, one of the colleges in Virginia." And we were talking about that, and she said, she said two things that stood out to me. One, she said she was working in, I can't remember if it was Express. I don't remember. It was a store in the mall. Now she's in her 20s now. So she was talking about when she was younger. She said she was working in a store and she wore her natural hair. Oh, I forgot what it was. And the manager told her, "Can you come in and be less ethnic?" And she was like, "Well, what do you mean?" She was basically talking about her hair because her hair was really big and poofy, stuff like that, right? For those of you who don't understand the way our hair grows, for those of us with more textured hair, our hair will grow up and out. Our hair doesn't grow straight unless we manipulate it or unless you just happen to have that hair texture. We have all kinds of hair texture. But anyway, so she says they told her she wasn't allowed to wear her natural hair. And she was like, she felt so bad and she had like this really low self-esteem anyway because of what's happening out in California where so many of these people out in California they don't even like themselves, they don't like being black, and they just want anything other than black. So you got to let people be where they are. I said that goes all the way up through Washington State and Oregon. But anyway, so she was telling me the effects of what that's like when people are telling you that you can't wear your hair. Now, she said she came out to the East Coast. She was visiting for a while because she's like a stripper in Vegas or something. So she was out here on the East Coast and she was visiting for a while. And she was saying it wasn't until I moved away from California that I even knew how to do my own hair. She was like, so I'm visiting out here on the East Coast for a while. She was doing, I don't know what she was doing on the East Coast, but she was with some friends. I guess they were just, I don't know. And she said, I was looking at all the black women out here. She was like, you guys are so different. So we were basically like a phenomena to her. And I was like, well, what do you mean? So when at the time when she said this, my hair was straightened enough, but I was just rocking, I call it the 1980s, two cornrows down. And she goes, you guys wear your hair out. And I was like, okay. And she's like, you won't see that back where I'm from. I was like, yeah, because you guys are like psycho. And she's like, but it's so pretty. I see people wearing their hair with their puffs or they're braided or whatever. She was like, it's just different out here. I said, well, our beauty standards, I mean, we do wear the wigs and stuff like that. And we still have challenges out here too. But you guys are on a whole other level of self-hating out there in California. And she was like, I have never even felt so pretty until I came out to the East Coast. Now, granted, when she goes back, she's got to be in her wigs and stuff for her dance routines. But she was like, I see so many women, and she's like, I look at the way they do their natural hair sometimes. She was like, it's so pretty. And she was like, I wish I could live like that. I'm like, well, you could. That would require you to make changes, of course, and probably have to get off the pole. But she was like, I never even knew I was attractive or whatever. And all this stuff. She was like, because I'm told that the way my hair is not good enough. Where am I going with this tangential point that I said? When black people think that it's a like they're coming at black people talking about you want to be like us, it's actually not true. Well, let me rephrase that. We're forced, I would say, en masse or collectively to try to appeal to European beauty standards, but that's primarily because of what is accepted in society. And now we're starting to reclaim our look, reclaim our natural hair, reclaim the things that make us unique, right? Even down to our beauty standards. You probably saw in one of my videos about a week or two ago how there were people out there on TikTok or whatever, white and Asian, because you got a lot of self-hating Asians out there. A lot of self-hating Asians out there. They're trying so hard to remain in this model minority, and they're trying so hard to have proximity to whiteness. So they will do anything to push black people down in order to try to remain close to white people. And she tried to come at black people for how we like to line our lips and lip gloss, stuff like that, and talking about how it's not elegant, it's not this and not that. And I'm like, oh, my little self-hating Asian. Um, I should find that clip. Oh, sorry. Um, she was so out of pocket, and I was just kind of like, I felt bad for her because she didn't know what she was doing. And I was like, you're the kind of person who's probably going to go try to lighten your hair to get as close to blonde, but your hair is so dark it'll never look as good, right? You have your own thing that makes you unique. You know, you're probably going to go get your eyes done and try to make them look very Eurocentric when the very fact that your eyes are shaped differently and beautiful in its own right should be enough. All the stuff she would say, I was like, child, oh my child. Anyway, the point I'm making is when people talk about wanting to do this, that, and the other, I'm like, wait a second. There's so many white people who are getting extensions and clip-ins and stuff like that because they recognize that, hey, it actually helps preserve their hair, or maybe their hair is damaged. So they're like, well, let me do this to the fake hair instead of my real hair. They also don't realize that wigs and stuff were started long, long, long ago in Africa. So like when you see people like in Great Britain wearing those down in the wigs and stuff like that, that was not that was they didn't start that. That started in Africa. Anyway, the point I'm making, now we're going to reel it back in. If you are taking out all of the history and anything that's related to black people and you are whitewashing it, this is what's going to start happening. People are going to start thinking like, okay, everybody just wants to be like us because we're the creator of everything. And it's not true. Let me tell you what was so educational for my children. When we went over to Rome, so now my kids understand that like Jesus was a brown man, he had woolly hair. So we're also Baptists, we're not Catholic. So for those of you who don't really understand, I'm just going to point out there are major differences to us. Like one of the things that Baptists don't do is you don't see them have Jesus tacked to the cross, right? We serve a God that's risen, right? So for us, we just have a cross. And so we were in Vatican City. We went through the museum. We went to the Sistine Chapel and the Basilica. And so I remember when we walked into the Sistine Chapel, and my son is looking like, what is all this? And he probably didn't understand all the historical stuff because we had a history lesson of what all the paintings were and everything. But what was interesting was how whitewashed Christianity is over there. It was really interesting. Like, so my kids are learning different things, like how people view Jesus and stuff around the world. They're seeing pudgy white people looking like cherubims, right? And that's not how they were described in the Bible, but how if you go over to like Spain and Rome and all these places, they like to whitewash Christianity. And that's what happens when you don't teach it the right way, right? Keep in mind, look where the history was in the Bible, in Assyria, Southeast Asia, stuff like that. The people didn't look like the Romans. When they talk, you think about where the seven churches are that they reference in Revelation, right? It's not in Rome. They didn't look like that in Rome. I mean, where the seven churches are, they don't look like the Romans. So anyway, they're looking at these stuff and they're looking at the history. So there's probably a lot of sensory overload. They're not saying anything. They're like, whoa, they've got Jesus on the cross here. I'm like, yeah, well, they're Catholic. And then they paint them differently. And, the Catholics are Catholicing. So, and sorry, my text messages. But anyway, so this is what happens when you don't teach history, when you don't teach it like for real. So my kids are over there, they're looking around, they're like, this is not, I'm like, I know, but what we're here is to see, we're just trying to appreciate the art. I said, now we don't do this because as Baptists, we don't put Jesus on the cross, right? We don't make graven images. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, this isn't a graven image because it's in 2D. Doesn't matter. Also, they'll say things like, oh, we're just appreciating, this is an icon. Like a lot of the Eastern Orthodox, they will also do that. They'll say, like, this is an icon, but to us, it's an image. It's an image. So we don't have pictures of Jesus Christ on there. We're Baptists, right? We just have plain crosses and we talk about Jesus. Hallelujah. So anyway, but my kids, when you expose them and you show them around the world or in the classroom, the point I was making with all that was the role of the Black church back in the day was we had to teach our history. That's how we learned the Black national anthem. We have our own happy birthday to you. Things have, changed throughout the years, especially post Martin Luther King. We learned about Black Wall Street. Yeah. You had the Tulsa riots and Rosewood, and I'm forgetting some other things. Back in post-Reconstruction era, that's where we learned how to read. That's why there was such a big push for voting back in the day. And now we got all these politicians coming in church now. Don't even get me started with that. So the Black church was instrumental in a lot of things. And now you got all these new age Blacks because, they're so new age now. They talk a good game, but they don't offer up any solutions. They don't have any programs. The church was the program back in the day. But now a lot of them, they want to talk about like, oh, this is a white man's religion. I'm like, no, Christianity started before it even hit Europe. The Europeans helped to like codify it throughout Europe, but they split off from the Eastern Orthodox. Even though I think they say Eastern Orthodox and the Catholics are kind of closely related, but the more I started looking at what the Eastern Orthodox really believe, a lot of it sort of aligns with what the Baptists believe. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I'll let all the Hotepians fight it out and whatever, and they can go talk with Dr. Umar about how we're Africans in America and some other stuff. All right. Last thing I just want to say before I get off here. Oh my goodness, they are blowing up my phone. And I'm going to go shower shortly. Look, I want to talk about all of these weirdo celebrity men real quick. Between Tyrese whining and crying every 2 seconds about how he has to pay his preferences money for his child support. You've got Steve Harvey going crazy over Marjorie and whatever. You've got Brian McKnight, who doesn't even know how to be a man, because the way I look at it, if you are the patriarch, that's your seed, those are your children. What you don't do is you don't take down your children on social media. The one thing Steve Harvey hasn't done that I haven't seen was denigrate his children on social media. Now, he may not act like he recognizes them, but he doesn't actively denigrate his children on social media. Brian McKnight was denying people. I'm like, this is what happens when you give some of these black men some money. Tyrese don't even like black women. He claims he does, but he doesn't. He has very strong Afrocentric features, and he's trying to do everything he can to run away from who he is. And every time I want to say Tyrese, I want to go la 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 la. La 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 la, always Coca Cola. Remember that from back in the day? I will always remember him as the Coca Cola man. Well, Tyrese, all these whacked out weirdos. I'm like, we don't have any real examples in the community. We don't anymore. All these guys who claim they're not manosphere men, they are. All these guys who claim that they know what they're doing, they don't. And they claim that they're fathers because they have money. Look at Nick Cannon. He doesn't even see all his children. Nick Cannon is a whole clown. Tyrese is a whole clown. Steve Harvey is a whole clown. Brian McKnight is a whole clown. Neo, all of them. All of them. What they need to do is come talk to me and I can give them some good advice. Anyway, I'm just saying, good Lord, these girls. So anyway, all I'm saying is we got these whacked out weirdo men out here. I'm not even talking about the whacked out weirdo manosphere. I'm gonna end on that. I've got a handful of minutes left. But these men are out here embarrassing themselves, and they desperately want all this clout. I think they want to be seen as the penultimate, and all they're doing is embarrassing themselves. You did not see when Halle Berry, or I didn't recall Mary J. Blige getting out in the media when they had to pay all that spousal support. I don't recall Halle Berry complaining. She took it on the chin. But black men who don't even like themselves, they don't want to have black children, and they are complaining about paying for child support. Yes, it's expensive. You should have thought about that before you got your member wet. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't understand why they would want to air this it's so embarrassing and cringeworthy. It is embarrassing. They're like, it shouldn't cost that much. Well, you should have thought about that. Raising a child is expensive. There's so much I want to get into about that, but I gotta run. Let me just say this real quick. I think the whacked out weirdo manosphere needs to just come up with a manual, and it should just be called the Manosphere Manual. What did I say? Voices for Victims. They are the best victims. I've never seen a bunch of men whine and cry so much about everything, and they have no solutions. And I'm speaking primarily for the black guys. Now, I've been really good about not clicking on any content, and I can usually get most of it out of my feeds. But there's always somebody who may clip something from somebody else's channel that shows up in my feed, which is kind of annoying. So sometimes I will get some of the information. I will see it like in a clip or something, but I don't give them views, and I make sure I say in YouTube it's like not interested. The goal is to just keep that out of my feed because I don't like to hear a whole bunch of crazy. But you would think that these guys, these so-called men who I think secretly just hate women and they want to be women. They talk about women so much. I've never seen a bunch of men who claim that they're helping men, but their sole focus is on really getting the validation from women because all they want to do is just find a way to just legally be whores. They want women, they call women whores, but really these men want to be whores. They just want to be whores. They want to be whores. They want to be whores, and they need to be validated by the very thing that they don't like, which is women. So anyway, I think there needs to be a manosphere manual, and then the subtitle would be Voices for Victims. And they should basically only have three main talking points or four. They should have a chapter called Useless Stats: being fat, married, the community, and a single mom. Number two, they should have something called um, I want to be a young man with no verbal game. I just want free peeing and poon or whatever it is that you're into. Three, getting your passports for a vagina, because that's really all they want it for, not for learning or anything like that. And four, how to talk about a black woman's looks. Now, I'm going to be serious for a second. I think the manosphere, if you guys were serious, I want you to listen to me. Why don't you guys, if you really care, start a 503c nonprofit or something like that? And I'm being 100% serious. Start a nonprofit for black men and let that be for whatever areas you think that they need help in, whether it's scholarships for education, whether it's your own healthcare insurer or something like that, so black people can maybe find a way to get subsidized healthcare. Maybe it's a hospital or something that treats unique ailments in the black community. But I really think that if you're part of the manosphere and you're serious about helping the black man, you need to start doing something and have a solution. I think you need to tackle education. I've spoken about it enough on my channel. Start a 503c that channels educating young black men. Yeah. If you don't, since you guys don't like for black men to be educated, since education seems to be a demon, why don't you start a 503c that actually trains these men in the trades, that can finance it? What do you think the community needs most? We already know that you guys don't like each other because you continue to kill each other. But if you think that there is an alternative, that there is a solution to get black men to stop killing each other, why don't you create a 503c nonprofit and you start funding the very thing you think needs to be in place that would take the attention and focus off killing them? We know where there is poverty, there tends to be violence. How do we get them out of poverty then and change the mindset? Instead, you guys would rather create these podcasts and start talking about each other to blame black women. I'm still trying to figure out where black men went wrong, because they apparently haven't gone wrong anywhere, right? You have a verbal manifesto. That's what you have. You have a verbal manifesto. It's called the Manosphere Manual. The subtitle is Voices for Victims. I want to know, what is your plan? What is your solution? What is your solution? Stop creating these verbal manifestos. Stop creating these stupid podcasts and start putting your energy into creating the real solutions. See, what black women have decided to do is, since they cannot rely on men right now, there's still love there. Contrary to what people say, there's still love there. But what they're saying is, okay, I called it the airline approach. I think I did a couple videos on this too. It's called, you got to save yourself first, right? You put on your oxygen mask. I can't help anybody until I can help myself. They started putting on their oxygen masks. You know what those oxygen masks were? It was education, it was therapy, it's self love, it's reclaiming our own beauty standard. It's a lot of things. I have yet to see when black men are going to start doing that. They don't even want to have black children. They literally are obsessed with vagina, that they're getting passports only for vagina instead of expanding themselves and learning. I talk about education, right? I talk about their systems, education systems, financial systems, social systems, medical systems, health systems. There's all kinds of systems, economic systems. All right, so look, that was my chit chat. It is 9:34 a.m. I've got to take a very quick shower and get up to my coffee date, which I'll probably be 5 minutes late for because I got a little bit of tackiness in me. Let me know your thoughts. Anyway, don't get mad at me. These were just my Saturday morning chit chat thoughts. Go ahead and subscribe and go ahead and I'll leave a comment. Let me know what you think.